Hey there, welcome to lesson 4, where we'll be starting to draw our sketches of the 4 characters we'll be using for our signs. The first thing we are going to do is picking a brush with a texture similar to a pencil. Remember that we are going to create a pencil drawing effect. So you can find this, as I always say, in Adobe website. And from there, you can download any brush. This one is by Kyle Brush. In my case, I'm using the existing preset brushes in Photoshop CC 2018, and specifically, I'm working with dry brushes. The first thing we need to do is selecting a representative picture of the person we want to draw in the first place, which is Freddie Mercury. So, I've picked a picture that I'll be using as a reference to do my own drawing. Before drawing, we need to keep in mind aspects such as the distance between the eyes, tiny scars or marks, moles, and other characteristic details of these people, since they will help us to recognize and identify them at first sight. So, in Freddie's case, if you remember, there were tons of pictures representing him in a triumph pose. However, I'll be emphasizing the moustache, basically because we are working with busts, so we cannot rely on body gestures or postures that much. That's why I prefer to highlight the moustache feature. Then we'll be hatching certain areas to darken them and compose it little by little. Don't worry if your sketch is not that clean, because we are looking for a hand-drawn effect. You can also erase those strokes and lines you don't like. It's fine, it's completely fine. The most important thing here is adding strokes and lines softly so that it looks like it's a freehand drawing. So, we are going to draw the head, the neck, and slightly the shoulders to draw some piece of clothing afterwards. For example, I think it would be a great idea to make him wear a white undershirt without sleeves, which is very characteristic of Freddie Mercury. In addition, another trick is using the liquify filter, since it's a powerful filter for retouching the image and certain shapes, and it will help us to adapt as much as possible the sketch to the reference image. And here you go, this is the final result, which means our sketch is already done. As you can see, I've used some hatchings to make the hair, the mustache, and the brows deeper and darker. Let's color the drawing. To do so, we're going to choose a base color that allows us to add volume and depth to our drawing. Pick the pen tool and add nodes to insert anchor points. Take a look at how I'm doing it. By doing this, we'll be creating a flat figure. Amazing, right? Now click on Fill, and this is the result. And guys, I forgot to mention before something regarding the pen tool. In case you are not familiar with this tool or you have never worked with it, I would recommend you to work directly with the Illustrator pen, since the one of Photoshop isn't very easy to handle and it might give you some trouble. They are not the same, they have some differences. But if you feel ready for using this pen, you can work with it directly from Photoshop without any problem. The thing is, the result won't be so clean. In case you want to use directly a pen to fill in the image, like I've done with this rose tone, try to use a brush with soft edges. Plus, if you have Photoshop CC 2018, much better, since it allows us to slow down the strokes speed, and thus the strokes will be much cleaner. Slowing down the stroke's speed helps us to avoid any unnecessary movement and shaking of the hand in case we are not used to the drawing pad. In this way, the process might be slowed down as well, but the result will be much better and with less imperfections. Okay, now I'm going to make the screened area lighter, and instead of a greenish black, I'll use a rose tone. From this on, we'll be using a flat brush to modify opacity depending on the pressure. With this flat brush, we are going to add small light spots. So how are we going to do this? Let's pretend we are working with a digital drawing. As it had flatter areas. The only thing that interests us the most now is creating the lighting effects and preparing the base to color it afterwards. So, regarding the lighting, we are going to work with a zenithal lighting. This means that the beam of light is directed from top to bottom, as if there were a lamp above this person. So, the lighting will be oriented from the forehead to the cheeks, the nose and the chin. Now, we are going to add the shades to those, let's say, sharp areas, which are the end of the nose, the superior lip, the eyelids, and the inferior part of the brows. We'll also add other colors so that it will be easier to work with it afterwards. As you can see, we'll be using this brush only for wide and big areas, and once we finish it, we'll go back to the traditional pen effect. Your wrist might hurt a little bit, but it's just a matter of hatching and adding lines continuously. So, to sum up, we are going to draw the initial sketch with a traditional pen effect and create hatches and to darken some areas. Then we are going to turn to a dark brown tone. After that, with Photoshop or with other program, as I said, using a pen or a brush, we are going to create the base where we'll be adding color afterwards, like I'm doing here. We are going to use base colors, which will be of great help for the future lessons. In the next lesson, we are going to color with the pen, as I just explained. And if you have any question, feel free to ask me via the forum. See you in the next class.